right, what's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another Leafs Nation After Dark. Game number 69. Yes, that is right. Game number 69 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the New York Rangers here tonight. And what ended up being a little bit of a tighter one later on. We got a special edition here at a jam-packed Love and Exile wine bar. Carter Hutton's bar. Thank you. Vic, turn down the crowd noise, please. Here with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill. Boys, before we get into anything, before we start breaking some stuff down, how are we feeling? It took us a long time to get to Nashville here today.
I know how Nick's feeling right about now. I think the whole world's
Floor.com right now. No, but I will say, Monday came on Leafs Morning Take. What I say? Is the Alberga guarantee.
Yeah,
I said they'll win at least 3 or 4, so we're good.
You also wanted them to lose tonight so that
let's not forget about that.
Didn't gain any ground, which I put a question mark beside.
Yeah,
but we're taking the positives tonight.
That is true.
Boys, that was a sick game, though. Like, hey, like I it's a roller coaster covering this team, but they're back, and it's like it actually concerns me. And Rosie, you can speak this. You played in the league. Like, what was Matthews doing for those, 5 games, after the Four Nations? Was he just you know what? What happened there?
Oh, well, everyone's pointing to injury. Obviously, that's the common theme, but he seems to be able to turn it on and turn it off. Is he just that good that he can still shine in that league throughout an injury? Or is there something else going on? It's impossible to speculate. They tell us nothing, as we know. There's not even a point in trying to decipher through the little bits of information they give you as far as injuries and player status, because it's the polar opposite of what they say sometimes. But my thing is, they do seem back. How long ago was it? You could throw a rock and
Vic
hit. How long ago was it when we're
fucking
freaking
F-bombs
out?
on Monday. I couldn't.
3-0 since
this guy
Vic's.
was like scorched earth, jump off my balcony, Liberty Village. Now he's back.
But that's what the team does to you, right?
Yeah.
They're so hot and cold. They make you believe, and then they just make you feel like they're a million miles away, and they're good at doing that. But I tend to lean towards the positives of the season, and this season there have been way more positives than there have been slides. I can count 2.5 slides they've gone on. Go find me a team in the National League that you couldn't if you're looking at them with a microfying glass.
Inside joke from the other day. It's okay.
Sometimes my words get mixed up. And you wouldn't be able to find a team, even the good ones, that don't have a little 2.5 section slide in an 82-game season. I get it.
Yeah, I get it. And look, we don't want to do a negative show here tonight. Rosie and I were saying before we started the show, what are we going to talk about? It's a lot of positives. There's very few negatives that come out of this in the last couple of wins that they've had. But the other thing, too, and Nick, you said it, and we kind of have talked about it off in the background or whatever, and Rosie talks about it there, coming back from Four Nations, is he hurt, whatever. I think that's the thing that pisses Leafs fans off, right? That's the thing that makes them go nuts, and that's the thing that you see in the playoffs. And, maybe Nathan MacKinnon is this, he's the exception, not the rule, but that's a guy that every single time you watch him, he looks like he wants to go out on the ice and kill somebody. He's angry at his teammates, the ice, whatever it may be. You look at some of the guys on the Leafs, and, we just talked about a stretch where Austin Matthews looked like he might have been mailing it in. Mitch Marner might have been mailing it in. Not to say that they were. Maybe something's ailing them. Maybe they're tired. But a game like tonight, especially on a back-to-back, on a travel day, following a big win against the Colorado Avalanche, Nick, that's the moments that you look at and you go, why can't you do this every night?
Well, we had the longest travel day of all time.
Yeah.
I wake up at 5 a.m. I'm ready for my 8 a.m. flight. Doesn't happen. I get $15. Thank you, Air Canada. Bought me one drink.
Made you work for it, too, didn't they?
Oh, fuck. I had to walk across Pearson Airport to get this $15 voucher. But what I'm getting at is John Tavares, boys. We started the year and JT was finished. Let's put him on the wing.
Yeah.
The guy has been a stallion. I respect this about this team where I'll be honest. I thought it was a quiet night for Marner, Nylander, Matthews, but Tavares, McCabe.
Really good.
I thought Tanev was great again.
Pontiac.
Pontiac. They're and that's what makes Pontiac's my guy. They're
man.
Bobby. I just love when you start throwing depth at teams, and the Rangers are a good team. I know they've been shit lately, but I like the fact that when you roll at them in waves, like it's scary. And come the playoffs, Rose, you're going to need that type of offense.
Well, we were talking about it before. Like, does this team? It's always the question. Do they have what it really takes? And then you break it down, like from the back end, like Stoley and Wall. I don't know when we've had a tandem like that.
I know.
You're going back to another millennium, maybe. And then on the back end, like Benoit, I love Benoit.
He's been good lately.
And then Morgan Riley's like our stud. Like there's a poster on my kid's wall with like 5 defensemen in the league. Like he got at the book fair. And
Rosie's throwing darts at
Morgan's
Riley.
One of them, right? Like his limit, his sky is high. We've just got Carlo, OEL. Fucking Tanev and McCabe. Like, are you kidding me? Then you roll through the top, and we've got our studs. You mentioned John Tavares, like the big 3. He's one of the big 4. He's on pace for what is he going to get? 35, 36 29. Goals this year.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And then we're talking about depth. Like when you see Domi here recently doing what he does, like he is effective. He can work. He can hit. He's a disher. He can make plays. He's a seamstress at times. He can scrap and be a difference maker. Look at the guys that we mentioned with the depth. Bobby McMahon, when he steps up, he like takes over games. We haven't even got to Matthew Nyes yet. No. Like and Pacioretty, like the depth is there. The pieces are there. You put this roster on in Colorado and say, are you going to tell me they're not going to be front runners for the cup? This team is. We scrutinize them. They have the weight of the world on their shoulders constantly. That's just what it is in Toronto. But they have built a great team on paper. And if they can ever all kind of put it together at the same time, look the fuck out. But we're just waiting to see. Like you mentioned, this guy was here today, wasn't here yesterday. This guy was going yesterday, didn't really notice him today. If they could ever all put it on together, they're built for success.
Look, this is one of the first times this is the first time that I've ever actually done After Dark and not actually produced it. So I should probably say that tonight's show is a presentation of Bet365 as well, something that I have not mentioned at this point in the show here yet. So thank you to Bet365. And breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION, NATION, to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. I mean, one of the things here tonight, like our best bet, the best bet that I gave out and crammed out in Vic's hotel room before the game was William Nylander anytime goal. And part of the reason was we're talking about guys stepping up in those moments, but it's like you guys are just saying, to cap off that conversation, is it's Johnny T who steps up here tonight. Like you get other guys who fill in some of those spots, other guys who are able to find themselves into some of these roles, and superstars who can step up. The only thing that I think is kind of hindering them, and Rosie alluded to it there, was like it never feels like, or it's never felt like maybe in playoffs past, that they've all been clicking at the same time. They're not all going at the same time, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I've been steadfast on saying like call me in a month. We're less than a month away from the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm enjoying this trip. It's great to be with our fans and our listeners, and I'm happy we beat the New York Rangers. But let's get to round 1, whoever they play, Ottawa, Montreal. I hope everything comes together, because I'll be honest, Monday I woke up and I was fucking pissed, man. They lose to Ottawa on Saturday. You got these fucking analytics nerds like chirping the Leafs, being like, Berube's the wrong guy. They're like shitting on the team. Like, you're so out of touch with reality in terms of what you need for a Stanley Cup winning team, where it's like your numbers are great, but you have the softest guys in the league. You're not winning shit. And and you guys can speak to this. I've been consistent in saying I like this Leafs team. Mm-hmm. I think this is the best shot they've had at doing something substantial. I'm not going to go as far as to say they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but I think they make ground. Like, I like their depth, love their blue line. Chris Tanev has been such an unbelievable addition to this team, man. He's so rock steady. Doesn't get credit. Like, even the job he did at McKinnon the other night. Like, he's just so good. Like, I love the Carlo pickup. I think Laughton, and I talked about this the other day on Leafs Morning Take, he's going to score a big goal where you're like, fuck, that guy's a stud. He wants to be here. And so, like, I'll hang my hat on that. if that's what I got to live with, that's what I got to live with. But I really, and Rosie, maybe you can speak this, I feel good about this team right now.
Well, I think he cares too much.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, this team is on a pedestal. It's much like Lorentz, the story yesterday where, he has that big goal and then all the pictures of him in his Leafs jersey around the Christmas tree when he's 6 years old. Like, that's very much Scott Laughton. And I knew back when I played with him when he's 21 years old how much the Leafs meant to him. And we were in the Flyers organization. So to come here, I get why he wants it all at once, and he's probably, I think Berube's even alluded to it, he's trying to do a little bit too much. It's going to come, and lo and behold, the timing of it with the third line and the way they're buzzing and the way they found their stride the way they have in the past, it's like you cannot break that up, so you move him around. But I do believe in Chief when he's like, we're not worried about him. Yeah. We're going to put him in these spots because we can, but we know what he is. And I am very optimistic about him as well. I know some people are going to go, well, what has he shown? Well, he hasn't had the start that he would have drawn up in his dreams, but I think very much it is a process with him and getting used to this team. And then, like you say, just watch something click and the floodgates will open.
I can't add too much more to the Laughton stuff than what Rosie just said. It's just kind of the one thing. I mean, you want to talk about a potential negative here tonight or over the last 3 games, it's Scott Laughton. And it's not to say he's a negative. It's just the negative story that's going to be coming out. I mean, we're talking about lines being shuffled and people playing with different groups and in different spots. Well, the one that we've seen is, when they traded for him, Nick, you were the one who made the joke on the trade deadline show. Oh, it's not long before he's second line left wing.
It happened.
Well, it happened immediately, and then he went back down to the third line, and he went over to the wing spot on the third line. Then he went fourth line center, and now he's fourth line right wing. Like, he's bounced all over the place, hasn't really just found his spot yet. I don't know. I'm not smashing panic button here, Nick, on Scott Laughton.
No, I mean, I'll hang my hat on this. Like, I think over the next 2-3 weeks into the playoffs, I think he's going to score a monster goal. Whether it's a shorthanded goal or something you don't expect. Like, and people don't know that. Like, Scott Laughton's the only guy in the league with 4 goals in a game this year. I think, especially for a guy who, as Rosie talked about, like, wanted to be a Leaf for so long, and it's like been weighing on him, and he had the Last Supper picture. Like, I think you got to give him some time. And even Brandon Carlo, like, we haven't really talked about this, but I think he's been so consistent, so steady. He's like the perfect guy
last night.
Exactly. And like producer Vic talked about this the other day. Like, if you're not noticing the guy, like, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
And $3.8 million a season, like, that's a steal.
You play 18, 20 minutes a night, and you don't even notice.
Dude, he's
that's
just
good.
like rock steady, man. He just knows his job and like knows how to play it, and he fits into the room, and you can tell. Like, I was watching Blueprint last night getting ready for this trip, and I saw like the deadline special, and like they're dapping up Carlo, and like that's a Boston Bruin, man.
Yeah.
And it's like he is so jacked to be a Maple Leaf. And then he gets like lots in the mix because he knows lots from the division. Like, I just think it's one of those things where it's like these guys take so much pride in being a Maple Leaf, and I think you don't understand the value and what it means, like, especially when it comes to Scott Laughton, like how much it takes to being a Leaf when you're that guy who's from the area. So I give the guy the benefit of the doubt. I think goaltending's been big. I think the blue line's being big. Like, we haven't really talked about the fact that Tanev comes back and all of a sudden they're shutting guys down again, right?
Yeah. Especially McKinnon last night.
Oh, man.
And to go back to Carlo, he doesn't come here expecting to be this Jesus that is the Messiah that fixes all the problems in the back end. He quietly just comes in and is like, here's where you're slotted, and you know what McCabe is doing, you know what Tanev is doing, and OEL is there, and you got Morgan who is capable and stuff. I'd love to see more out of Morgan. That's a huge thing. If we got Morgan's ceiling right now, where does our defense rank in the whole league? We haven't seen it in this millennium once again.
I think too, like, they're big and nasty, like, and we like to compare it to like teams who have won. Look at Florida last year.
Yep.
Like, I think when you compare Toronto's D, Rosie, to like 2 years ago, like, you don't want to play them in the playoffs. Look at OEL, man. He's fucking like hitting you every whistle. Carlos, same shit. Like, I think those after the whistle type hits in the playoffs, like, they add up, don't they?
Well, and they're the layers, right?
Yeah.
It's just one after another after another. You're not like, I was going through the D and I forgot about Carlo.
Yeah.
Because I'm so focused on the flavor of the night, and whether it's Tanev or McCabe had at least 3 apples. You look at
McCabe was fucking unreal
You
tonight.
look at McCabe's. He's a stay-at-home defenseman who's kind of and he's 3 apples. What D-man gets that in this league? Kale McCarr, that's kind of it. And their plus minus, Tanev and McCabe's plus minus is just it's so far head and shoulders above everyone else that watch those guys. Watch how hard you lean on them if they get into a series against, take your pick. I don't give a shit if it's Florida. If they can get through that and they all kind of come together and you do well this year and exceed expectations, it's going to be on the shoulders in large part due to those guys and the way they're playing. And it's not a flash in the pan. It's consistent. And then it allows those Carlos to come in underneath and the OELs to come in underneath. And I'm going to bang and crash. And I don't have the weight of the world. I'm not expected to do everything out there with my allotted ice time. I got time and room to go bang a little bit and crash and mouth off, and Benoit's behind me, and it's just the depth on the back end is showing itself right now, and I think it's going to be really useful here in a month.
I do want to address the chat. The chat's a big part of my show, and I've not ignored it here. I've been kind of looking in at this. So there's a couple themes that are going on here, and I'll get to some of the super chats here as well.
Yes.
Here's some of it. One of them was Zack looks like a child between Nick and Rosie.
Dude, this is the consistent thing I get. People meet me in person, wow, you're 6'3", 210.
Yeah.
Give the numbers again.
Love it. Hey, give me a good angle.
You want to take your shirt off while you have the floor?
No. But I get that a lot. But Rosie's
Aloe shirt, $150, bro.
When you see Rosie, the
asking.
guy's thick, man. The guy's thick. He's got a big fucking head.
Well,
too.
here's it. Rosie looking massive. Rosie jacked. Nick is
Got
bombed.
2 layers on.
I am bombed, yeah. I am bombed, but we're enjoying Nashville.
We are. First night here. We've
This
got a
is a
couple
nation
left. Here.
vacation, folks.
Yeah, this is Nation Vacation. We do have super chats as well, so I want to make sure I get to some of these. Proceeds from our super chats go to Sick Kids Charity here. So you want to get your question or your comments into the show. You want us to talk about them, read them, answer them, whatever it may be. They go to a great cause. It's always been a part of my show here, always a way for me to answer and engage with the chat here as it goes along. So I want to make sure I answer some of these here tonight. We're not going to do a super long show. We'll probably wrap it up in a little bit here, but want to make sure I do the super chats. So let's start with the first one here, Vic. All right, first super chat.
What if you guys remember deadline day? I had Rosie default as a super chat reader.
It was hard.
You didn't like
Yo,
that.
No, I don't like you guys' job.
super chat. Go ahead, Zach.
6 Cents Digital. Lorentz might be one of the Leafs' most reliable players with the puck. Every time he has it, I'm at ease. Wildly underrated. I don't know if either of you guys have a thought on that one.
It might have been Lorentz's mom sending that in, but I'm not disagreeing. I mean, it's a bold take considering the depth we just talked about.
Yeah.
But the guy's consistent. The guy's enthusiastic. And, again, like last night, he could easily be the guy that steps up in a big game and scores that big goal. And there's the story. I know he did it last night. It's a
Kelly
regular
Sutherland,
season
thank you
game,
very much.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. A weird thing happened.
The
But,
hell was that?
I mean, and he
what was that?
he still had to finish the play.
It was a great
I
shot.
understand
But
what
the
happened.
ref dove into the I
was
was there
weird.
alive.
It
man.
was weird.
It was weird.
I think that he was trying to get back to the wall, knowing that it was dumped, and he tripped. And then he's sliding,
Yeah.
going, "Oh God!" And
Yeah,
it's
he's
like
looking at the
paintball
puck.
where you dive behind the thing and you're just getting
And
pelted.
yo, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, he's going top shelf. It's just as
Far
soon as
side.
the ref looks at him and he looks back and he's like, oh fuck.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
it's
Sutherland. Once I was because the puck hits the ref all the time. It's
Yeah.
usually in the corner. I had to hit a linesman along the blue line. They're part of the play. It's like anybody's skates. You know they're there. You know you have to go either behind them, around them. They have to jump over it. They're part of the play. They're on the ice 24/7. There's 3, sometimes 4 extra people on the bloody ice. They're there. It's not the first time it hits them. But when it's that specific and that obvious, the first thing I was thinking is Sutherland. He's just begging, no, and then he goes far side Teddy. Oh, of course he did. No one felt worse about that than him. But hey, sometimes the Leafs get a bounce too.
Great bounce.
Some other comments here in the chat before you get to the next one. Our good friend Tammy.
Hey,
Tammy says,
reveal yourself.
I know. I was hoping.
Show us.
I thought Nyes was a mutant. ... Look at Rosie.
Tammy! Buddy,
what's going on with this sweater tonight?
Yeah, it's a good sweater.
we hey, shout out to Waymore, the hotel we're staying at.
Yeah.
Shout out to Love and Exile Winery and Bar.
Yes, packed house here tonight.
Great time, packed house. Waymore has been a fantastic host. We showed up a bit late. Air Canada, thank you for the $15. Did a long way for the Eggs Benedict I had today. And the 4.5 hour delay, and Rosie shit 3 times. And that was the best thing of all time. The Leafs acquire Brandon Carlo. This guy's taking a piss. It happens.
I just got Tammy got me blushing still. I'm just sticking with that.
He doesn't even know what you said.
Hey, it's okay. Hey, thank you, Tammy.
We got more super chats here, though. Let's get to the next one from our friend Maxentius Decimus. Maxentius says, can I get a hello Pontouse for the kids? Rosie, he asked me to do it last night. I had to do it. It's not as good as yours.
Are you going to do it?
Do you want me to?
Dude,
it's
I gotta get
nowhere
Pontouse
near
to
yours.
do it.
Well, it
man.
depends when you come in and you say, hello, Pontouse. How are you?" That's for the people that showed up for the nation vacation.
Yeah, you guys are beauties. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, we're having a hell of a great time. This is the
Yeah.
first one of these. We weren't sure what we were going to bring. People that showed up all
People actually listen to us.
unbelievably
Fuck.
good, down to earth, honest, awesome people. We're having a blast, and we're in like hour 7 of this bloody thing.
Me and Rosie got together one day, and like our technology broke down 6 minutes in, and I had a crazy ass background. It's like, fuck, people are actually gonna listen to us talk. So
We were talking about that in the airport, how far we have come. We can't believe
Yeah.
it's our 3rd season. And
We're still working
back
on
in the archives. God, it was
We're still
legend.
working on some big guests for the show. We'll get them one day. So
Yeah, we're still cranking those out, Zack.
We got a comment here in the chat. Zack is the Nick Robertson of the lineup. There's a guy
That
in
is a
attendance
chirp.
here today. There's a gentleman in attendance who, if that was meant as a chirp, he's gonna take some offense to
big
that
Nick
one.
Robertson guy. You knew it. You knew it. That was it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. but
Almost called
that's
his
good.
chat.
That
Almost called his
that
shot
was
in the
good.
chat.
Carl.
That's a dedicated
Carl
listener.
said it. It was Carl. Carl said it. Yeah, dedicated listener though. We do have another super chat here. I mean, I guess maybe if we want to go to another negative here tonight, Michael with the other super chat. Michael says, "Guys, did $14 million Mitch Marner play tonight?"
The security guard played.
Of course.
He plays on social media.
In the comment
attacking the boys
section.
in social media, yeah. Going at us on Instagram.
Yeah, Mitch Marner, security guard after producer Vic. I don't know why.
Yeah.
There we go.
All of a sudden you say one thing about these guys and I can't show up in playoffs and he's just in there harassing the boys. But, I mean, I don't know, Rosie. What do you think about that comment? Mitch, did he play tonight?
There's got to be some negativity if it's going to be a Leafs show.
Yeah.
I thought it was a solid performance. Mitch has been great since Four Nations.
Yeah.
Again, you can pick it apart and say, well, where was this guy if Tavares was so hot tonight? And then, the other night you could say, well, where was Tavares tonight?
Yeah.
It's about ham and egg in it, mixing it up, yes, and it's great when they do. Sometimes a guy will have 2 in 1, and he's kind of the reason you won 4-3. It's great. What I want to see is just can everyone fire on all cylinders just one game so we can see what this team's ceiling is? If they did that, like I said, from the back end,
It's like that Tampa
goaltenders
game,
all the
Rosie.
way
You remember
through.
you and I did the prime game earlier in the year?
And were they just in
You and I did it
ridiculous mode?
after. It was the game before they lost to Columbus, I think, like 6-2. You and I went on the show after, and it was like, holy fuck, these guys are different. Everybody's buzzing out here and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
If
it's kind of not being the case
If they
since,
can all
right?
play
Like,
at 80,
tease us.
85%, look out, man. There's not a team that can hang with them, but they haven't shown consistently enough that they can all play at that level. But I really believe on paper they have the personnel to do anything they want. You look around in the history of the books and say, well, that team wasn't really slated to win. They weren't the best team in the league, but they've got a Stanley Cup under their belt. It doesn't have to be perfect where you go 80-2 and you win the Stanley Cup because you were clear. Like, you don't have to put together that team. You have to put together a team that's got a lot of holes plugged, and then everyone has to buzz at the same time and get hot. And this team's extremely capable. We just haven't seen them all get hot. They seem very much this guy's night tonight, that guy's night on Thursday, this guy steps up on Saturday, which is great. They're good enough to get wins and rattle off points that way. But if you want to beat the big boys in the playoffs, they all need to come together, and we got to see close to the best of every guy, and then you'll see a team that's worth doing some damage.
Yeah, if you guys want to see me snap, just wait a month. Like, I'm just chilling. Hey, like, this is great. I don't know how to react. They beat the New York Rangers. Congratulations. Win a fucking round.
Yeah.
Win 2 rounds. Like, I don't know.
It's going negative now. We started the show positive.
No, I'm not negative.
You beat the Rangers. Fucking way to go.
Because, dude, it's like I see the weekend and you guys turn me to the other side. I see the game against the Panthers, see Ottawa. Then, like my question is, like, I watch Matthews and I'm there Thursday and I'm there Saturday. Why overdrive Monday?
Yep.
Why overdrive, like, the next game? Like, it concerns me. And it's like I try to stay level-headed, and like working with players like Rosie, I understand it's an 82-game slate. You're not going to have it every night, and I hope you have it in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but that's why I stay level-headed. Like, it's kind of funny because you guys go scorched earth, and producer Vic, like, 83 F-bombs, and I get it. And maybe that's the rallying cry. Like, his clip went viral. Like, that was Vic's like Jay Rosehill moment where he got 100,000 views where he shit on Marner, and you ask him, can you raise a Stanley Cup? Like,
do you know what it is?
Like, do you know what it is to raise a Stanley Cup? Like that, maybe that's the moment. Maybe Big Papi saw that. Maybe Nylander saw that. But until we get to the playoffs, and I wonder, what this team looks like. I believe in Craig Berube. I love the blue line. I love the goaltender. Like, I love the crease. Like, whether it's Stoli, whether it's Wolsey, like,
bounces back here tonight.
Exactly. Like, even if, for example, you get to game 1 and Stolarz, I think, will start. Maybe he gets lit up or is a bad game. I believe in Wolsey coming into game 2. Like, I think it's one of those things where I have, like, Producer Vic's on the red vino, so he's canceled from the show.
There's some other people that believe too, but the point is they're both capable.
Oh, you guys are on Wall now.
Concerning.
Yeah.
Man,
the fact that we're conversing over who could play is a very good
thing. Yeah. I mean, in the past, we're like shit our pants, right?
They flip. Like, Producer Vic is... I love it because, like, Producer Vic's a microcosm what a Leafs fan is. Like, a fair weather fucking back and forth. You're playing hopscotch. Like, that's you. But that's fine.
Shots.
No,
fired.
it is. Hey, I'm going to call your ass out.
You're a fair weather pussy playing hopscotch like a bitch? That's a shot.
Because Vicky on Sunday,
pretty much said
Vicky on Sunday was suicide watch, and now the buds are buzzing again. We're feeling good about the team, and he's back. He's chipper. He's drinking red vino during the show. His boy Pat's fucking mixing him up here. Look at it. He's got the cup in front of him.
But if you go on Twitter after a win or a loss, if you get on it enough, you see the different sides, and there's
and you've lived it.
There's the Dubasites and stuff. And no, I've never. This is new to me. I've never been on Twitter. I don't follow this stuff. I get it now. Like, there'll be a win, convincing win, and then there'll be the certain accounts that are like, yeah, but did you crunch these numbers, and did you realize that this, and did you realize this is just a microcosm for that?
Nerds.
And then they lose, and everyone's like, oh, and they're like, well, actually, Nick Robertson is the greatest guy on the roster. Whatever it is, everyone's got.
We
their
call those
takes.
virgins in 2025.
Everyone's got their takes, but until this team starts putting together 60-minute efforts that are more consistent, you're always going to have that split. And like you said, you don't really care what they do until they do it in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the positivity and negativity, how up and down it can go. Like, the next super chat here as well. There's a few more that I want to get to as well. Maxentius Decimus again. We have 5 big, great defensemen, and then ... Riley.
Dude, okay, I'll say this right now, and I've been the biggest defender of Morgan Riley. Like, I'll make an assessment after the playoffs. I know it's been a shit year, but if Riley comes out and he does what he did against Tampa, I'm good.
Yeah, he was unreal. Yeah.
So I'm chilling.
And if Morgan Riley right now is your big caveat on
exactly,
and then
you're sitting
Morgan
pretty,
Riley,
right?
then you're looking pretty goddamn
exactly.
good. Sorry, I mean his ceiling's extremely high.
I don't know.
He's
People love to
that.
hate that guy. Like, we've every year, and it's like maybe we were bred. Fuck, I covered the Leafs during the Marnie Marincin era. Jesus, like that.
I know.
He probably would have been the number 7 on my beer league, and I'm the worst fucking hockey player.
Think about the guys we saw.
Sucked, man.
Like,
Zaitsev,
Justin Hall, Vincent.
And it's like Morgan Riley. Like, I think if he finds that market and he finds that groove, like that's the guy. So if he has the playoffs that we expect from the guy, then we're sitting pretty.
Some more stuff here in the chat. Also, I did not realize that I looked this small or young or whatever until I reading the chat. Austin Matthews' hairline. Rosie and Nick got to buy Zack booze because they're in the States. Is Zack getting ID'd? Nice of Nick to bring his little brother tonight.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Poor Zachy.
Like, what the hell happened here?
Honestly, I think it is something going on with my sweater, and Nick is bigger in person than people believe. So it's a little.
I'm on creatine.
We're normally
I'm on
tits up on
creatine.
these shows, and now we got the full bonds going. It's
okay. Zack fucking kills it.
No, thanks, man.
Ain't no worries.
We got another super chat here. Let's play the super chat animation for this one, Vic. Super chat here from Tammy. Again,
you rotten little scoundrel.
doubling down. Feeling some FOMO, but I hope everyone has a great time in Nashville. Cheers to a great win tonight, and cheers to Leafs Nation. There's a couple of emojis here, Rosie.
Eggplant.com. What is
Cute
those?
emoji?
There's a cat and a fish.
I don't even know how to read that, but
It's the biggest joke of all time. We think we don't
Tammy,
say.
let this be a lesson. Next year you will be here in person. Probably tarps off by this time, and we cannot wait.
We're gonna have super soakers spraying in Florida next year.
All right. Anyways.
It's not an after dark unless Zachy's crying.
Yeah, it's important. We bring that out of him.
Next super chat. So we just went from tarps off Tammy to thoughts on Leafs 1-2-2, often shifting to 1-3-1.
Who fucking cares?
And the
man?
potential negative impact this might have in the playoffs when
It's
the
so
D
negative.
isn't particularly quick.
You are deep,
Buddy, I'm
you are
scalded.
deep in
That
the
was
structure
not what I
weeds, man.
expected to read next.
They won.
That's deep in the structure weeds. Like they don't consciously go 2-1-2. We're coming in hot. 3-1-3. Like, they don't change up their forecheck on the fly. Sometimes the situation presents itself a certain way. Sometimes you're on a line change. Sometimes they have full possession. Sometimes you have a step on them. Sometimes it's time to be aggressive. Sometimes it's time to take away the walls. It's like you're too deep in the weeds for that, and that's part of, I think, the problem of hyper analyzing this team, and you wonder why they don't want to, be honest in the media or show them their true selves. I mean, you're hyper analyzing their 2-1-2 forecheck turning into it's a little bit silly here, and you just got to take the W sometimes.
Well, the thing I don't get either is like these calculator nerds. So like, they got outshot 48-26, but they won the game. Last time I checked, like, where the fuck's Carter Hutton? He owns this place, and he's not even, I don't know, he's at dinner. But last time I checked, he's not here.
That's watching this. Like, what the
He is not present. Stray shots at Carter Hutton. But
stage.
Hutsy Bobutsy's not here. Goaltending is part of the game. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I don't know. It's the market, but it's like goaltending is part of the game where it's like maybe Wolsey played great last night or Stolarz played great and they get the saves. Like, that's part of the game. That's part of the equation, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, look, I talked about it last night because people were asking, again, the same question.
What'd
about
you
the
say
shots.
last night?
Pretty much the same thing. Is like goaltending's part of the game. If your goaltending's winning you games, like that's a positive sign. That's not something you're really getting from this team in the past. The only caveat I put on that, and like not trying to throw any wrench in this, but it's just you don't want to rely on that every single game. If you go into the playoffs and you think you're going to win 16 games because of that, I mean, you're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle at that point.
Dude,
like
there's
but
so
that's
many
the reality.
goalies who have been that story.
But from as a player
guess.
and the coach, like, there was lots of wins where you win, and like you never want to rest on your laurels, and you never want to say, "Hey, they were in our end the whole night, and they peppered the shit out of us, and there's no way we would have won if Stoley or Wool didn't stand on their head, but we're happy anyways because we just take 2 points."
Yeah.
In the locker room, they're going, "Hey, boys, way to get the win, Woolsey, unbelievable job back there. It's not good enough. We still have work to do. We can't rely on that." They're saying all those things, I assure you. There's never a time you get absolutely scorched on the shot clock and everyone's just clapping going, "Don't matter, baby, don't matter." Like, there's always the pursuit of better, especially in the NHL. So trust me, they've addressed that. But the fact that you can kind of get peppered in shots and come out with a W, what does that tell you? It tells you that so many other avenues are covered and that holes are plugged and that you can get that win. And say you get into a 7-game series and the other team gets the jump on you and they're in your end more often and they're peppering you and they're out shooting you and you still get the win. I mean, you're just a freight train now where they're going, well, what the hell are we supposed to do? You can demoralize teams that way. Yep. I think even though it's not the way you draw it up on paper, those wins are valuable in showing that you've got a lot going for you.
Tammy, by the way, updated after you said that and said foam party. Foam party, that's a Tammy
My wife's going to get involved in this chat if things continue to persist.
We got one more super chat, and then I want to wrap this up because
we got Broadway to hit. Let's go. Yeah,
we're out here with people from the Nation Vacation again. Thank you to everyone who showed up here tonight, either at Love and Exile or on the trip. I mean, obviously, other than the flight delays that occurred today.
Thank you for the $15.
Thanks for
the only one that suffered was Jeff Merrick at the end of the day.
Yes.
No Jeff Merrick. No sheet today.
Sorry about that. But we do have another super chat here. Let's get to this one first.
What? You skipped out.
Well, I'll go to this one. KPG, who's in Mexico
Our
right
guy.
now. Lads, do a shot for the $50 super chat for the kids that he just sent.
Okay,
so
KPG, we're going to get
can get those.
While
if
Vic's
everybody
getting
else
that,
in here also wants to participate in that. But
yeah, well, Vic's
we
getting
do
that. Why don't we talk
KPG,
David
thank
Kempf?
you. Yeah, because this is the other super
yeah,
chat. I'll just read it quickly.
yeah.
Maxentius Decimus, is Kempf in for game 1? Obviously gets himself back in the lineup here tonight, Nick. I don't know. Let's just go around quickly. Is David Kempf in the lineup game 1?
I'm going to say no because I think Max Pacioretty, believe it or not, he'll be around. He'll be there. He's going to show up. I think Pacioretty's going to be in the mix. I think Pacioretty's going to take Nick Robertson. That's my call. And I don't think Kempf's going to get in there. I think Yarncroke's a guy who they believe in. I think there's a reason why they've seen him up and down the lineup. So I think game 1 specifically, no. I think it's unlikely. I will say, and I know he's my boy, and you guys know this, but Pontus Holmberg is really elevated. He has been a guy who has been noticeable for a month and a half now, which is great to see.
Yeah. I mean, I know we kind of joke about it. Maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but it is real. The Pontiac has been flying here lately. Since returning from 4 Nations, he's gone second line on that wing with Tavares and Nylander. I mean, look at the last game, last night against Colorado. After the first period, it was Yarncroke, Laughton, and Lorentz. They were outchanced 10-0. And the move that Craig Berube makes is
believes in
Pontus down there.
Yeah.
And part of that is you're just trying to change things up. But he goes down to that line, and he was fucking great.
Yeah.
He went down there and looked really good on the 4th line, and he looked pretty good on the 2nd line. But, I mean, Berube's starting to trust him there. I'm going to go with the same answer as you, Nick. I'm going to say no. Part of it, I think Pacioretty's coming back. The other part of it is, even just outside of Pacioretty, I kind of get the vibe that Berube likes Yarncroke. I mean, I don't know how much he loves him, but I do get that vibe that he likes him.
Too, man.
I was going to say Pontus has climbed into his good graces.
Yeah.
It's
going
to be recency bias come the time. What's the point of deciding right now who's going to be hot going into the playoffs? And I do think Pacioretty is going to play a factor in that decision.
We got shots.
All right, these are for
shout out
KPG.
to our contest winner from Flight Night, Ryan. There he is.
Thanks,
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Ladies, he's single, by the way.
Yes, he is.
The BernieWilliamsSalute.com. What a beauty. Hey, boys.
All right, boys. KPG, thank you for the super
Thank you
chat.
so
Thanks
much.
everyone who's
KPG,
watching.
Nation Vacation.
Again, thank you to everyone here on the Nation
Yeah,
Vacation. Cheers
let's-
to all of you guys. We'll have a night after this one.
Woo!
Thank you. We have another super chat here as well. It is a big one. We'll do this. We'll wrap things up.
Woo.
Cameron Huffman.
Oh.
Bunch of beauties here tonight. You boys are weapons. Thank you. Love the Bobby McMahon tip for Gino tonight. I hope he scores 20 plus. Love the show. Fellas, Rosie, you're a Leafs legend.
Whoa! I keep wondering when that statue is going to be finished.
My
Legends Row.
favorite
They're
fighter.
taking forever with
My
that
favorite
one.
fighter was Cole
Fraser
Nor.
McLaren. You know you have a little hard on for Fraser.
Cole Nor was a
McLaren.
sick fighter.
Check the game tape, boys. Check the game.
Rosie
tape.
was one of my favorites, honestly. So I was paid to say that.
Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, and appreciate the super chat. And look,
thank you.
not too much to add to that on the Bobby McMahon tip. Like, again, to everything kind of Nick and Rosie have talked about here, and the three of us have continued to say, depth contributions is great. Getting guys all throughout the lineup who are able to contribute, make an impact on the game, score goals, something you're going to look for in the playoffs. And, I mean, it's like Hutz brought it up on the show with you the other day, Nick, is, sometimes you can't look at those guys and say, you got to score every night, because reality is you're bottom six and you make $2 million a year, but what's the impact you're making? These guys are making an impact right now. So
yeah,
it's been positive what we're seeing out of them. Let's get to a couple more things on the show before we wrap up. I have two segments that I always close with here on the show. So let's go to the first one. Let's go to our play of the game here, Vic. All right, play of the game. I don't know if you guys have a play of the game
Rosie
yourself.
eating nachos.
Rosie, do you have one? Do you have one here? I'm putting you guys on the spot. I know that this is kind of it.
Buffalo
I can take the
chicken
lead. The
nachos.
buffalo chicken here at Love and XL.
Let me think.
Fire.
Lead it off.
Okay.
Play of the game.
You guys have segments on this show?
Yeah,
I'm not aware of the segmentation.
These guys.
Well, sorry, I thought the floor was mine.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Not nice guy. Johnny T starting it off in the first period.
Yeah,
He
I
got
like
the
that.
thing going, and sometimes it's one of those guys that starts things off and puts you in the driver's seat. I thought that the Leafs were in the driver's seat the entire game, especially when they tied it up and bang, next shot, boom. No, we are controlling this game.
Yep.
That is John Tavares in my mind tonight.
I have no answer. So, well, I don't know. Like 2-1 for JT. Like, what do you want from me, man? Like that's the performance of the night right there.
Zachy, you had something.
A
Yeah.
play of the night, like
He doesn't get a play. He's
Look,
done.
I was
Dude's
just
done.
gonna say
like
the.
Sportsnet has that shit. We don't have that stuff.
I have that, Nick. Come on, man.
I don't work for Sportsnet.
Okay, time.
You're gonna kick him out of here.
Kill my mic. Corporate Nick.
Play of the game for me is going to be the third goal for the Leafs, the JT second goal there. Most of the reason is not even
Stud.
just because of the goal itself or how it was scored. It was actually just the response of the Leafs. Like, you tie that thing up on the Panarin goal. It was a big, juicy rebound that Stolarz lets out. I mean, you're on the road. It's the second night of a back-to-back. You just won an emotional, tough game against Colorado at home. And you could have just deflated, and I don't think people would have really, jumped on you too hard
Back
there
to
in that
back,
moment.
yeah.
Vic
And
would've.
just immediately the Leafs respond, but it's JT who responds. It's
Dude,
the
they
guy
took
who
the
chose
C off
to
that
come
guy's
here.
Jersey and he's
Flying,
fucking
man. He's lighter
unbelievable.
out
Like,
there.
And then
Yeah.
we see Poppy, and it's like, who is? I don't know, man. No more questions about that.
Leafs win.
Leafs
win.
Leafs win.
Leafs win.
Last thing I got to do to wrap this up.
We're going to Broadway, man.
Last thing I
Show's
got to do to
over.
wrap this up, something we do every show. Last thing, I'll get you guys to do it. If anybody in the crowd here as well has a different answer or
Bleed
your
blue.
own thoughts, I do grade of the game. What's your grade of the game? How'd you feel about this one? I'll take the lead. You guys can jump in if you disagree or have any other thoughts. Second night of a back-to-back. Good solid win. You responded every single time New York scored or got it close or anything like that. I mean, made it 4-3 late. And you just shut it down there still. I thought your big boys were pretty good. We look at the depth throughout the lineup. Jake McCabe stepping up in this one. I'm going to have to go with an A. I mean, I can't get there to an A+, but I think the response,
This guy's horny.
stepping
He's
up
back
after
in
this
the
one,
mix.
3 straight. Stolarz, I thought, looked good. It's an A for me on this one.
Rosie?
I got A-, same idea. There's room for improvement, but not much. I mean, A- is winning a lot of hockey games in the NHL. The reason you got that 2-goal lead is you can let one in late and kind of fend it off and get your 1-goal win. It was pretty solid little textbook W against the New York Rangers. It was what it was. It's no more. It's no less. It was solid.
Of course, fucking Florida wins 1-0. Like
Really?
Barkov OT winner, 20. Like on the power. Like
1-0.
it's actually sickening, man. Like to be a Leafs fan. Just like one day I just want to like grow up. It's
One day I want to grow up.
dude. It's actually like I just want to live a normal life where my fucking team wins a cup, man. Like. And it's like you see the Florida Panthers and they got 17 guys coming off fucking injured reserve.
What
and
are we doing?
No,
like
you
it.
guys, dude, they
It's
got
the first part
18
I've liked
guys.
out of him.
They got 18. I watched Colorado the other night. They got like Gabe Landeskog is the most handsome guy in the show. I see him in the press box. He's gonna show up for
He's
game
turning
one.
into Tammy in front of our eyes.
Dude, he's gonna show up for game 1 against Dallas. Florida, Ekblad's showing up game 3. Marchand, out of nowhere, showing up for game 1. You know what's happening. It's sickening. I feel great about this team, but they're still tied with Florida. Tampa, let's look what they did.
I thought we were wrapping this shit.
2-2. Well, what was the question? Sorry, I forgot.
No, you were saying goodnight to everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody, showing up. This team pisses the fucking shit out of me. And, dude, no. But,
From Mr. Sorry, I don't get too high and too low.
Talk to me in a month.
no, but it's like the thing is, like I've always put this, and I've been frank with you guys last month. Like, it's like it's fortifying and knowing that like if it doesn't work, there's gonna be change.
That's fair.
Right? So like
Yes.
I don't know if you folks out there watching right now, like I feel like it's a different feel to me. And producer Vic, like he was swearing 3 days ago, so fuck you. You don't get a say in this shit because you're like fucking suicide mode off a ledge. So that was my gripe.
My show's gonna get canceled.
This guy swore 83 times. I say 3 F-bombs. Rosie loses his shit, tells his wife she hates my guts.
Take control of your show,
Why?
Zach.
All right.
Why?
All right.
Wrap the show.
Chat
Holy
mostly,
skull.
chat mostly here at A's and A minuses as well.
My grades. Sorry.
Yeah.
A plus.
A plus.
A plus.
I gave an A, and this guy's like, oh, horny.
A plus.
I hate this team. Can it just win once for me? A plus.
Let me say why A plus.
You just
Back to back.
microcosmed the whole Leafs nation in about
Yes,
45
I know. I'm
seconds.
fucking delusional, man. There's team A plus,
Microfying.
A plus because they won the back-to-back, right? That is hard. I was okay coming into Nashville. I got $15 off today. Bought an eggs Benny. A plus.
Okay.
Get us out of here. We got to go to Broadway. I'm done.
Final super chat here. This puts a bow on it. Maxentius Decimus again. Thank you. Quote, one day I want to grow up. Nick Alberga. There you go. That is quote of the night.
T-shirt.
Thank you all.
You won't find this on Sportsnet.
Thank you, Nick and Rosie, for hopping on here. I wasn't sure what the post-game show here tonight was going to be like.
Now we know.
It was a fun one. I saw a comment in the chat here before I closed it. It said Nick will be up at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Not true, because at 4 p.m.-ish Central Time,
Doing a show.
Leafs Afternoon Take will be live right here from this very spot at Love and Exile Wine Bar. Again, another packed house. Thank you to everyone who showed up here tonight. Thank you from all the Leafs fans on Leaf Station vacation. Thank you to all of you guys in the chat. We appreciate it. Thanks to Ryan for the cameo. If you're looking for his number, send me a message. I'll send it to you.
Weapon of mass destruction.
Thank you to Nick and Rosie for joining me here tonight. That's all for game number 69 of the Toronto Maple Leafs
69.
regular season, defeating the New York Rangers here tonight. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back here live right here on this channel tomorrow around 5 o'clock Eastern time, give or take 10, 15 minutes either side. I don't really know yet. We'll figure it out. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.